For a good portion of my life, I cared a lot about impressing other people. So I would work really hard towards achieving something or acquiring it because I thought it would make me very impressive. That when I crossed that finish line, so to speak, that sparks would fly and people would want to just sit down with me and have like this press conference where they ask me a bunch of questions about what the experience was like and what they could do to be like me. But unfortunately, over time, I uncovered that there's really only more or less one of three different ways in which people will actually respond to these characteristics or accomplishments that you have that you think will make you very impressive. And none of those responses are what I just described. So I want to talk through each of those, maybe give you an example or two to illustrate what it's actually like when you do cross that finish line and what I learned from all that. So the first response is where people just don't notice it at all whatsoever to begin with. So for example, I'm a bit of a car guy and I drive a car I think is moderately impressive, and I like it when people comment on it, but I found that half the time, if not more than that, whenever I say give somebody a ride, they will just sit in the car and just be silent or start talking about something else, and they just won't say anything at all whatsoever about the car. Because newsflash, people don't actually care about cars as much as I do, but more importantly, people don't care about you as much as you care about yourself. They have other stuff going on and they have much better things to do than to be scrutinizing your resume. Now the second response is where they will notice it, but they either still won't care or they will interpret it in a way that's different from how you want them to. So for example, when I first got to graduate school, I was fresh out of the military, where say how fast you can run is something that people could potentially look at and use to be very impressed by you. The faster you can run, the more impressive you are. But in graduate school, it's not about that at all. It's about other things like how many publications you have or what your research area is. And so when I got there, people knew that I was ex-military, but I didn't get any extra points for that. And so what I learned from that is, even if you are impressive in one circle, those same things that are valued in that circle are not valued in others. So you pretty much have to start from scratch whenever you move somewhere else. And finally, the third response, which is perhaps the best case scenario, is where they do notice it and they do care in the way that you want them to. So going back to my car, for example, sometimes people will notice it and they will comment on it and say something like, hey, nice car, or if I'm even luckier, they might ask a question or two like, how long have you had it, or why'd you get this car, why'd you pick this car? But I noticed at least two things here. The first was that it's very short-lived. So the conversation only lasts like 5 to 10 seconds, and then they just continue on to talk about something else, and they stop caring rather quickly. And the second thing I noticed is that it really just doesn't make me happy. It's rather anticlimactic when you do reach that finish line and you get what you want, because it just doesn't feel that great. Nothing really changes and it's not as rewarding as you would think it is. So the takeaway from all this really is, don't do something just because you think it's gonna make you impressive, because you're gonna achieve it, you're gonna cross that finish line and find that it's just unsatisfying and very anticlimactic. And worse yet, you're gonna have wasted all that time and effort on something that really wasn't worth it. So instead, ask yourself, do I get intrinsic joy from this? Am I gonna get something out of it, either now or in the long term, that's gonna make me happy, that's gonna make me satisfied, regardless of what everybody else thinks? So as always, I welcome your insights. Let me know what your achievement philosophy is and what you think about the subject overall, and I look forward to hearing from you. So thanks for watching. That's all for now.